If you want to stop spam, fight fraud, and protect your privacy, identifying the best data broker removal service is top priority. These services not only help you find your personal information, but they help remove it from the data broker sites. But finding the best makes it easier, faster. We'll be comparing Incogni, DeleteMe, and Optery to see which one deserves the title of the best data broker removal service. During the first hour, you'll see a lot of information coming at you during their initial scans. All three services also have a dashboard, tools, and reports that they throw at you. Incogni does have the most basic of the dashboards, and so pretty early on, it will show where it suspects your information to be and all the takedown requests it has already initiated. In terms of being simple and straightforward, I would say that Incogni takes the win on this. But that's not to say that having more information or a more in-depth report isn't important. So let's move on to the next one. DeleteMe does go a little bit more in depth, and it provides graphs, charts, and data sheets, and it provides 3 key metrics: the number of sites checked, the number of listings reviewed, and the data brokers with your personal information as well. I like the extra in-depth information. It took about 2 days for it to compile, but I will say that the reports were a little bit hard to understand, and I wasn't sure how exposed I really was. But on to the next. Optery solves DeleteMe's problem with the report sheet by showing you screenshots of where your exposed information was. I like the dashboard as well, as it is comprehensive but intuitive. The other thing with Optery that I liked was it was easy for me to understand, but more importantly, prioritize where I wanted my information to be taken down first. Now let's talk about the actual results. All 3 services started getting quite a bit of results, but where those results clustered from or what sites they came from differed very heavily. So let's take a look. Incogni had a list of about 180 sites that it gathered information from, while DeleteMe and Optery had north of 500 sites that it was gathering information from. Some sites did appear on all 3 services, while some of the data broker sites were unique to each service. Like DeleteMe and Optery, for example, had a lot of overlapping sites, while I will note that Incogni does more of the searches on private data broker sites. If you've never used a data broker removal service, don't fret. You'll get dozens, if not hundreds of results the initial day that you sign up. As I hinted in the beginning, these services do differ slightly, and as we start getting more into the results, we start figuring out where these key differences lie. Let me break it down for you. Incogni will automatically start removing your information from the 180 sites that it covers fairly quickly and on its own. That's why I say Incogni is the most simple and straightforward of the services. DeleteMe will search for your information on over 700 sites, but it only actually or automatically removes your information from around 80 of these sites. This is a huge difference, and so what are you left to do with the difference? Well, you submit custom takedown requests. This is a far cry from their marketed materials and a key difference that I don't like, as it does make me do a lot of the requests takedowns myself. Optery will search on about 570 sites, and the takedown requests differ based on your plan. So let me break it down. It will automatically remove your information from about 85 sites. With their next tier, or the extended plan, it will reach about 185 sites. And with their ultimate plan, you can get coverage of about 310 sites. You can pay extra for their expanded reach and get coverage for all the sites that they've listed. So it is nice that you have choice. What all of this means is, depending on how many sites you want your information to be taken down from, depends on how much time you want to spend or money. And so if clearly you want the most amount of reach, then you'll want to go with a service like Optery. But before we move on, don't forget to check out the description below for some discount codes. You'll be saving some money and supporting the channel at no cost to you, which we always appreciate. In order to get started during the sign-up process, you first need to provide some very basic information: your full name, your address, and your phone number. And as you go through the steps, you can provide more information. And so you ask yourself, what might they do with this information? Well, they scrape the data broker websites to find your information and then take it down. So whenever you have the opportunity to provide more information, like alternate addresses or previous addresses that you've lived at, when the prompts come up for you to put this information, I would say definitely take advantage of that, as I find that when you put more information, the whole search process for data broker websites become more accurate. It takes about less than 5 minutes to go through this signup process. And as you go through it, these are where the key differences start to highlight. So with Incogni and DeleteMe, you do need to pay upfront before the whole search starts. With Optery, you do get a free search as you put in your information and you make the decision on which tier or plan to go with, which is kind of nice as you get to try out and see what service it is that you're paying for. As you go through the service, Incogni and DeleteMe do make you sign a limited power of attorney, and that is so that they can represent you and have your information taken down. With Optery, they do make this optional, but I would highly recommend for you to sign it, as they will need it to make the takedown process a lot easier and so that it can become automated. You can always revoke these privileges whenever you want down the line, so it is completely up to you, and you do have peace of mind with that. Once you've completed the signup process, each service will begin their takedown process, and this is where the services do begin to differ as well. Customer service. This is where some other key differences lie, and let me break them down like always. Incogni, as usual, takes the most simple approach. They have a section with an FAQ and a form to submit any questions. I submitted a question using their form and I got an answer in about 8 hours. Optery also has an FAQ along with a support center and a email/live chat. I submitted a question via the email and got a response within about 3 hours. Now, if you want in-depth assistance, I will say this is where DeleteMe comes out on top. DeleteMe has all the services that I listed with Optery, but it also has a phone number for you to call. With an email, I got a response within about 4 hours. So if you want comprehensive support, then DeleteMe is definitely the way to go. With Incogni, it'll go for about $15 per month or $90 a year. Now, there is a chance for you to get up to 4 people on a family plan. Next up is DeleteMe. Now, DeleteMe does differ a little, as unlike the others, it only offers a yearly plan. The yearly plan comes in at various prices depending on individual, couples, or family plans. So let's break them down. Now, for the 1 year individual plan, it'll cost you around $129. For couples, it'll cost them $229 a year. And for a family up to 4, it'll cost them $330 a year. Now, there are 2-year plans available with a slight price break as well, so keep that in mind. Optery, I will say, has the most diverse amount of plans, and they can be tailored more in depth depending on what you need. They have a free service that lets you try out in a limited capacity some of the services they have to offer. With the price tiers, you can get into monthly or yearly billing cycles. Personally, I believe that one service comes out above the rest, but as with anything, there are pros and cons, so let me just summarize them. Incogni will find and remove your information from the fewest amount of sites, but like I said before, it is the easiest and most inexpensive service to use. The data broker sites that it does cover will reduce your spam and junk mail, so I think it is a good value for the price overall. DeleteMe does make you pay annually, and so that monthly service is something for you to consider. With DeleteMe, you get what you pay for, and you do have to make some extra work for yourself, but it is the oldest data broker removal service of its kind, so you get the backing of a ton of experience. So if you're prepared to do some legwork and have some of your personal information taken down from these sites, then DeleteMe is the choice that you want to go with. But if you want your information to truly be removed from the internet, be prepared to do some work. With Optery, you do get expensive, but out of all 3 services, it does have the widest amount of coverage. So again, you do get what you pay for with Optery. But if you're willing to do the work yourself, then it's a no-brainer to go with Optery, as it does have a free service that lists out where your information lies, and then you can do the takedown process yourself. The dashboard does also make it easy to traverse and understand what it is that you're looking at. So there was little to criticize with Optery and a lot to like, which is why Optery is my personal favorite pick. Remember, I did leave some discount codes in the description below with whatever service you would like to try.